Every age has its shadows, but there will come a time when the shadows consume the earth. A time when justice will seem forgotten, when truth will be ridiculed, and when oppression will reign over nations. In that age, hope will feel like a distant memory, yet from that darkness will rise a light. The awaited Imam Mahdi, the man destined to restore balance before the end. But before his coming, the world will face trials unlike any it has seen. Corruption has appeared on land and sea because of what the hands of people have earned. So he may let them taste part of what they have done, that perhaps they will return. Quran chapter 30, verse 41, the prophecies speak of an age of confusion. Wealth will flow, yet greed will never be satisfied. People will build towering structures, yet their hearts will be empty. Leaders will betray their people, and scholars will hide the truth. Injustice will spread like fire, consuming societies. The poor will cry for help, but their cries will be drowned out by the noise of corruption. Families will break, honor will be lost, and trust will vanish. Neighbors will harm each other, rulers will act like tyrants, and followers will worship power instead of principle. In that time, truth will be seen as falsehood, and falsehood as truth. The faithful will feel like strangers in their own lands. Wars will erupt, not for justice, but for greed. Nations will fight over wealth, resources, and pride. Blood will be spilled without remorse, and life will become cheap. The earth itself will seem to groan under the weight of human corruption. Famine, drought, and natural disasters will remind people of their weakness. But arrogance will blind them from repentance. The trials will not only be in the world around them, but in their very hearts. Faith will flicker like a candle in the wind, and holding on to truth will feel like holding a burning coal. Believers will be mocked, oppressed, and hunted. Many will abandon faith for comfort, trading eternity for fleeting ease. The few who remain steadfast will feel as though they walk alone on a crumbling path. Among the greatest signs will be the spread of injustice at every level. Those entrusted with authority will betray it. Leaders will be cruel, hoarding wealth while their people starve. Judges will sell verdicts for bribes. Even places of worship will not be safe from corruption. Knowledge will fade, and ignorance will rise in its place. People will speak endlessly, yet wisdom will be rare. In that chaos, impostors will rise, liars claiming to be chosen, deceivers claiming to bring salvation. False leaders will exploit fear, gathering followers only to lead them deeper into darkness. Some will even claim the title of Mahdi, fooling the desperate with empty promises. But the true Mahdi will not be like them. His signs will be clear, his character undeniable, and his mission divinely guided. For the faithful, these trials will be tests of patience. They will cry out for relief, wondering when justice will return. And in their despair, a whisper of hope will grow, the promise of a man from the family of the prophet, a descendant of his noble lineage, who will rise when the world is drowning in injustice. His name will be like the prophet's name, his character like his character, and he will lead not for wealth or power, but for truth. The age of darkness is not the end. It is the preparation. Just as the night grows deepest before dawn, the trials before the Mahdi's coming will strip humanity bare, revealing who clings to truth and who surrenders to falsehood. The faithful will endure hunger, fear, and oppression, but they will also carry hope in their hearts. For they know that when the world can bear no more, the awaited one will rise. Some leaders take power through armies, others through wealth. The Mahdi will rise with neither. He will not seek the throne, yet it will seek him. He will not call himself chosen, yet the chosen will recognize him. His rise will not be the work of ambition, but of destiny, written long before his birth, waiting for the appointed hour, and we wanted to favor those who were oppressed in the land and make them leaders and inheritors. Quran, chapter 28. Verse 5. The traditions speak of a man from the family of the Prophet, a descendant through his noble daughter Fatima. His name will mirror the Prophet's name, and his character will reflect the Prophet's character. Gentle yet firm, humble yet unshakable. He will live as an ordinary man until the moment destiny calls him. The world at that time will be drowning in injustice. Tyrants will rule unchecked. Wars will exhaust nations. The faithful will feel abandoned, their hope stretched thin by years of waiting. And then, in the city of Mecca, a moment will come that changes history. The Mahdi will not declare himself. Instead, the people will recognize him. Crowds will gather at the Kaaba, desperate for a leader who can restore justice. They will find him reluctant, hesitant, a man who does not crave power. But they will insist, pressing him to accept the pledge of leadership. At first, he will resist, for true leaders do not chase crowns. But finally, between the black stone and the station of Abraham, the faithful will pledge allegiance to him. His rise will not be the coronation of a king, but the recognition of a servant of God. At that moment, the world will shift. News will spread rapidly. Believers across lands will hear that the awaited one has appeared. Some will rejoice, others will fear. The tyrants who built their empires on corruption will tremble, for they will know their time is ending. The Mahdi's first task will not be conquest, but justice. He will establish fairness in markets, honesty in leadership, and humility in worship. Wealth will be distributed with equity, so much so that those once poor will no longer find anyone in need of charity. His rule will remind the world of what was lost. A society where truth is honored, the weak are protected, and the strong are accountable. But his rise will not be without opposition. Forces of tyranny will not surrender easily. Armies will march against him. Among the greatest trials will be an army sent from the lands of the north to crush him. But divine intervention will destroy them before they reach Mecca. This event will cement his legitimacy in the eyes of the world, proof that his mission is not political, but divinely protected. As his influence spreads, the Mahdi will unite the fractured lands of the believers. Those divided by politics, tribes, and nations will rally under his banner. He will not call them to himself, but to justice, to truth, and to the worship of God alone. His army will not be built of mercenaries, but of the faithful who seek to restore balance to the earth. It is said that during his time, treasures buried beneath the earth and riches of the seas will be uncovered, but he will not hoard them. Instead, he will distribute wealth until abundance is everywhere. Fields will flourish, rains will fall in season, and peace will spread where once there was only war. Yet even as he establishes justice, the trials will not end, for his mission is not ease but preparation. The Mahdi's rule will last 7 years, years unlike any before. They will not be years of perfection, for the final hour is still to come, but they will be years of hope. The oppressed will breathe again, the faithful will stand tall, and the world will glimpse what justice looks like when guided by divine hand. But his rise will also draw the greatest enemies. Tyrants will plot, impostors will deceive, and finally, the greatest deceiver of all, the false Messiah Al-Dajjal, will appear. The Mahdi's rise, then, is not the end of trials, but their prelude. He is the bridge between an age of darkness and the final confrontation that will decide humanity's fate. The awaited one is not a myth, but a promise. His rise will remind the world that no tyranny lasts forever, that no oppression is eternal, and that when the world reaches its breaking point, God will send a servant to restore justice. He will not be a king clothed in luxury, but a leader clothed in humility. He will not come with empty words, but with a life of truth. His rise will not mark the end of suffering, but the beginning of the final struggle. Every story of hope ends with a test. For Imam Mahdi, the test will not be in his rise, but in the storms that follow it. His rule will bring justice, but his destiny will carry him into the fiercest battles of history. He will face armies, deceivers, and the greatest trial humanity has ever known. His mission is not only to restore balance, but to prepare the world for the end. Do not think God is unaware of what the wrongdoers do. He only delays them for a day when eyes will stare in horror. Quran, chapter 14, verse 42. In the early years of his leadership, the Mahdi will establish peace and fairness. Yet even as prosperity spreads, forces of darkness will gather. Tyrants who once ruled through fear will refuse to surrender. Their armies will march, seeking to crush the man who threatens their power. The Mahdi and his followers will stand against them, not with arrogance, but with faith. Victories will come, not from numbers or weapons, but from trust in God. But these battles are only the beginning. From the east and the west, enemies will rise. The world will be polarized. Those who love justice will rally to the Mahdi, and those who love tyranny will fight against him. Nations that once ignored faith will suddenly find themselves drawn into the struggle, for his call will shake the balance of power across the earth. Then will come the greatest deceiver, Al-Dajjal, the false Messiah. His appearance will be the ultimate trial. He will perform wonders that dazzle the eyes. He will claim divinity, offering wealth and power to those who follow him, and ruin to those who resist. Many hearts will be shaken, for his deception will be unlike anything humanity has faced. Cities will fall to him, scholars will debate him, and ordinary people will be torn between truth and illusion. The Mahdi will stand firm. He will gather the believers, strengthening them against despair. His leadership will be a shield, his humility a weapon against deception. But the struggle will be immense. Dajjal's armies will spread across the earth, and the faithful will feel cornered. The confrontation will reach its peak in the land of Sham, present-day Syria and surrounding regions. There, in a moment of despair, when it seems the faithful cannot endure, help will descend. Jesus, son of Mary, will return. His descent will mark the breaking of the greatest deception. The Mahdi will welcome him with honor, not as a rival, but as a brother in faith. The traditions say that the Mahdi will step back, offering leadership to Jesus. But Jesus will place his hand on the Mahdi's shoulder and command him to continue leading the prayer, affirming his role as the rightful leader of that time. This moment will unite heaven and earth, sealing the legitimacy of the Mahdi's mission. Together, they will confront Dajjal. The false Messiah's deception will shatter under the truth. His armies will scatter, and he himself will meet his end at the hand of Jesus. The greatest trial of humanity will be defeated, but not before it tests every soul. For in those days, hearts will be weighed, and only those anchored in truth will endure. After Dajjal's fall, the world will see an era of justice unlike any before. Under the Mahdi and Jesus, peace will spread, tyranny will vanish, and faith will flourish. The earth will give forth its treasures, the skies will bless with rain, and humanity will live in harmony. But this golden age will not last forever, for it is not paradise. It is a preparation, a glimpse of what true justice looks like before the final hour. The Mahdi's time will eventually end, as every human life must. His mission will be complete, to restore justice, to lead the faithful, and to prepare the world for what is to come. His death will be mourned by millions, but his name will remain etched in the story of humanity as the man who rose from humility to lead the world through its darkest hour. The final struggle is not just a story of battles. It is a mirror for every generation. It reminds us that tyranny does not last, that deception will always be unmasked, and that justice, though delayed, will always rise. The Mahdi's story is not only about the future. It is about the present, a call to prepare our hearts for the trials that test faith and to anchor our lives in truth before the end arrives. The awaited one will not bring comfort alone. He will bring responsibility. His rise will demand courage, his leadership will demand loyalty, and his trials will demand patience. But his legacy will be eternal. The servant who became the leader who prepared the world for the return of Jesus, and the man whose life was proof that even at the edge of the end, hope remains.